Base. How low can you go?
We're there.
Death Row. What you knows? Once again, back is the Incredible. The Rhyme Animal. The Incredible D. Do it up number one.
You like that rap a lot, don't you?
I do. That's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. You can tell. Use it for every kind of check you got going. All right. Well, here we go.
Welcome to the escape room. Enjoy the game.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game.
Welcome, everybody, to the DIU Escape Crew Podcast. I'm Dom.
And I'm Phil.
That is Phil.
And that is Dom.
Yes. And we're here to talk about our latest excursion.
Yeah.
Impromptu trip to Long Island.
Strong Island.
Yeah. It was our last day for rooms. And we weren't even sure we were going to do rooms on the last day. We weren't sure if we were just going to just get up in the morning and go or what. And we said, screw it the night right before we're ready to go to sleep. And it's like, you know what? Screw it. Let's
we're
book
here
a few
anyways.
Rooms. Yeah. Let's book a few rooms. It is what it is. And so we ended up going to Escape Game Long Island, which is a combination of at least two different escape room companies right now.
Yes.
And we stay. And so I didn't know this at first until we got to the first place, which you have the paperwork in front of you that because we're also going over our rooms that we did for the year for the Diamond Award. What was the name of the place? Escape. It was originally Escape the Room. Right?
There's Escape the Room Game Long Island.
Okay, that's one of them.
And then Padlocked Inked.
Right, is the second one. Right, so now they're all under the umbrella of Escape Game Long Island. Their website is escapegameli.com. And I'll be honest, man, they got 9 rooms to choose from. A couple of them are down right now, but we did 4 of these rooms, and I was highly impressed with the immersion of it.
Yes.
We did the Hidden Temple first, Legends of the Hidden Temple. And just to give you a quick rundown of it, there's rumored to be hidden treasure locked away in the sacred temple. Curious to see the temple, we have trespassed and fell into the temple guard's quicksand trap. The guards have been alerted, and they're on their way back, so you have an hour to find your way through it. This room was done very, very different.
I thought it was a cool experience walking in to that room. It was a nice little wow factor.
Yeah.
Walking in. I think we would have done better with 1 or 2 more people.
Oh, yeah.
But
it's almost any room, too.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it was just us two. But, yeah.
But
it was a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
And that was cool, the way it was. We got it without having at least 4 people in this room.
Yep.
And kind of needed 4. You did, but you didn't. It even says here 2 to 12 players on this game. But we got through that first room. It was after the first room is where I think we needed more people.
A couple more brains and a couple more eyes.
And a couple more agile people would have worked pretty good.
But even starting in the first room, you walk in and the wow factor in this room was pretty good. And then once you actually get a look around, you get that sense of, wow, this first puzzle or two is going to be a little daunting to try to figure out.
Yeah.
But we did it. And luckily we figured out a way that made sense to work it without 3 other people.
Right.
And
for this room, we had Sam as our game host. He did very, very well.
He was cool.
He did very well as a game master. At first, I thought he was going to be a little, like, oh, God, I got to be here. But he was really a nice kid.
Yeah, he was all
really
about
was.
it. He was very enthusiastic about it. And, we were able to joke with him, and he was able to take it. And some people think our sense of humor is a little
dry-ish,
insulting, maybe.
Childish.
Yeah. But he was right in with it. He loved it.
Yeah, it was cool.
He gave it right back, and he didn't take anything personal. And
fair warning, this may or may not be a spoiler, but there is a tunnel, and yes, there is a workaround.
And it's a long tunnel.
Yeah. Cool.
It is a cool tunnel.
It's a cool tunnel. But yes.
And I will admit that I did use the workaround, but I did make it through the tunnel once, all the way through.
You made it back twice. Back, and then you asked for the workaround.
Yeah.
So you went through it twice.
Yeah.
I went through it a couple of times, too.
I wasn't going to keep going.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with this game. If you had more people
could stay on
people
one side.
could stay on one side and people could stay on the other side.
Yes.
And we technically could have done that, but it was just, I don't know, a lot to do.
There was a lot to do. And, this room was cool. And I think this was like one of his least favorites, but
I thought it was a little leapy.
Oh, I definitely thought it was leapy.
Especially there's a lot of little subtle details, little subtle clues that when you see them, you aren't going to think that they're a clue or an important detail.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, this little teeny tiny thing opens up something.
Yeah. I mean, we had this one lock to do, and we were trying every single thing to do, and it wasn't anything. And he's like, well, what did you have in your hand when you first walked in the whole room? And it's like, what the hell? Like, really?
Yep.
You were expecting to find more things like that in order to do something, and but it was cool.
And then
that's where our leap was anyway, something like that.
Yeah. And then by the luck of whatever, there was a puzzle in there that usually takes forever to do, at least a couple tries, and for some reason you hit it right off the bat.
That was not an isotope puzzle. They were all the same size. You just had to put them all in.
Oh, were they?
That's all it was. No isotope puzzle. You just had to put them in right in, and I think it had to be in the right order, maybe, or just had to put them in, and it opened up.
And I was just sitting there, and I was like, "What the hell is he doing?"
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just you had to put them in, and that was it. Kind of like the brain puzzle.
Yep.
At 101, which you can listen to Escape 101 podcast. It's already up. But yeah, I think he gave us a little bit, maybe a little extra time. I'm not. Yeah, I think we got like a couple minutes or whatever. We were like right down to the wire anyway.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was cool.
The only really negative thing that I had to say about this room is when the workaround that they give you for using the tunnel is obviously a door.
Right.
And when you walk out this door, a blaring alarm goes off.
Until you close the door.
Yeah. And, you can't keep the door open even though you're walking back and forth because the alarm is going off. And there has to be a way to turn that alarm off, and I'm sure there is, and he just didn't know how.
Well, that's the end of the game.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's...
So,
he could have done that.
Okay, anyway. So that was Legends of the Hidden Temple. Then we moved on to Battle for the Throne, which, of course, is a Game of Thrones reference.
Yep.
Here is you must sneak into the castle, past the king's guards undetected, and discover the hidden chambers within the Red Keep. Hopefully, you don't get beheaded along the way. So, again, this room is 2 to 10 people. We did it with two people.
Yep.
I thought this room was better than the other room.
I agree.
And I mean, there's a few things that
This room also contained some ghost puzzles or remnants of past puzzles that aren't in use anymore.
Right.
But they did do a decent job of telling you.
Right. If you asked the question,
it wasn't in play.
And then they said it beforehand, too.
Yeah. As opposed to other ones that we've done where you spend 20 minutes on something and you find out, that's part of a puzzle that's no longer in play.
Right. Well, see, now, I didn't read this on their website until now, but it says in parentheses, game previously titled Sword in the Stone.
Okay.
So those other games, those other puzzles are probably a part of that game.
Yeah.
And when they reworked this game to what they want, this is what happened. This room, again, it was Game of Thrones themed, and I thought they did a wonderful job, except for maybe a couple little things, but one kind of major thing, and that is if you're gonna put a word lock in something,
yep,
please define the letter. Where we thought was a C, it was a U.
Yep.
Okay, please define the letter. That's all I ask.
Put a line underneath. Takes is a line underneath it.
Just like the 9 and a 6, where we ran into that too in a couple of different escape rooms where they're not telling you that it's a 9 or a 6. They're just putting that number on there.
Right.
And it ends up being the opposite of what we're looking at. I mean, maybe it's the way our brains work. I don't know, but please define what letter it really is.
Yeah.
Because we were stuck on that from the beginning of the game and didn't get to it and pretty much skipped over the whole thing.
And he was very surprised at the end when he came in.
That we didn't get that.
That we made it that far without opening up that thing.
Right. And you kind of needed that in order to finish the whole game.
Yes.
And that's probably the first or second puzzle you're supposed to open.
Yeah.
And like you said, we went through about 75% of the game before even opening that.
Yeah.
Again, Sam was pretty attentive because he was our game master again, asking us what was the last thing we opened and this, that, the other thing. So we told him.
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh, but you didn't get this," and that's where I got.
Yeah.
That's where I'm talking about this one puzzle, and so he actually had to come in and show us. He stopped the time. He came in and showed us what we had to do.
Yep.
And it's like, okay,
he was right on the ball. He was a good game master.
Yeah.
I would take him again. Definitely.
And so that's probably my biggest takeaway from this room. Was that please define what letter it is. That's all. This room was done very, very well. There was a couple things in there that he was telling us we got stumped. He's telling us the right thing, but in our heads, we're thinking. And this time it was us. It was definitely us. It had nothing to do with the game. And you thought it. I thought the same thing.
Yep.
And it was he was telling us the right
and the
way.
answer was plain as day,
right in front of your eyes.
Yep.
And so I thought that was a really cool puzzle.
And
there was something there too because I saw that there, and I'm like, this has got to be something because it matched most of the paintings too, and it had nothing to do with the paintings. Spoiler, sorry, but it was done very, very well.
Yep.
We did beat this room. And this room had quite a few cool effects in it.
There was a nice, cool wow factor as you walked into the final room, and it was done really nice. It wasn't overboard. It wasn't cheesy. It was done in a very cool way, and it was done in a way that was interactive. In a way that you wouldn't think it would be.
You're right.
And I thought that was great. I really did.
I did too. I enjoyed this room a lot. So we were trying to talk with Sam a little bit, and I think he had we had another crew in there that went into Hidden Temple.
Yeah.
And did we have to go into we went into the last room to get a picture taken and stuff like that, which I don't even think I posted yet. But so, all right. So our next one was I don't know. Hour and a half time, away. Not distance, but, we had an hour and a half or so before we had to go in. Because we weren't sure how far the things were. Well, so we go grab something to eat. And We stop, grab a drink, and this was the funny part. It's like, we'll stop at the 7-Eleven over here. Okay. All right, let me put this back in. Hey, we're next door. We don't know Long Island. They have like three different locations right now, possibly even 4. 1, 2. All right, so 2 for right now. But I think their third place is going to be opening soon. Well, we go to the
a lot of their games are still under construction.
The original. Well, construction and the places themselves are still under the original names. They're not all under this name yet.
Right.
So, we went to the Padlock location.
Yep.
And that's where we met Tyler and Zach, the game masters for, which I think it was Zach was our game master for
Zach
both games.
was, yeah.
We went in, and Sam at the other place told us we love Cuckoo's Nest. That's the one we booked.
Yep.
And he's like, you're going to love Cuckoo's Nest. It's really good. Okay, cool. So we booked it, and it's like, hey, you're visiting a friend in an insane asylum. When the alarms go off, they have a missing patient. Your group is rushed into the doctor's office by a nurse. As she locks the door behind you, you are forewarned. You have 60 minutes to find the emergency exit before all the doors are locked, including the maximum security ward, which is what we were in.
Yes.
And it's for 2 to 8 players. It says it's 8 to 10 difficulty. I don't know if it was 8 to 10. I think the difficulty, it was a little more difficult for us because of the way they explained what we had to do in the room at the end.
Yep.
And I took it differently than you took it.
Yep.
And I think that's where that's like the only time we really crossed,
Right.
crossed each other. And I was adamant about, no, it's supposed
Yeah,
to be
you
2
had
of
it in
these.
your head that it was definitely one way, and I had it was definitely another way. And
yeah.
But, those things happen. And it gets to the point where you're either going to yell and scream at each other or you're going to say, listen, let's just agree to disagree and just go out
and
to
move
the
on.
next puzzle.
But this room was done very well.
This room was a great example of paperwork.
Yes, it was.
No
fine print.
We hate paperwork.
Yeah.
This room, the paperwork was one and done. What you needed was highlighted. I don't want to give stuff away.
Right, but it was easy to read.
It was a good
It was
font.
right in your face.
It wasn't teeny tiny letters.
And it explained everything you needed to do.
Right.
And again, like you said, it was one and done.
Yeah.
You use it, put it away. You don't need the fine print phone number as a lock code at the bottom. You know what I mean? So this room was done very well. And again, there was a workaround, I think, on this one.
Yes. Yep. Which
no-
I did use.
Yeah, but no real tunnel. It was just
a half door.
Yeah, it was a half a door or half a thing that opened.
We opened to a really cool room.
Yes. And we don't normally like lab rooms, but
No.
this wasn't a lab room. This was more of like an operating room.
Well, it's based on the movie. It's based on the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is about a psychiatric hospital, and that's what it was. It was set up like a psychiatric hospital from the 50s or 40s or whatever.
And it was cool. I liked it.
It was neat because the puzzles, for the most part, evolved around a hospital setting without being tedious. A lot of times when you do a lab room, they evolve around the hospital setting, but it's very tedious. A lot of little numbers and a lot of little fine print and a lot of, this wasn't. It was set up logically so that you're going to have fun and try to escape, as opposed to, a lot of lab rooms just are so detailed.
Yeah, detailed mostly in numbers and everything else. But no, this one was done well, and there was an actual 3-person puzzle in this room, where they could change that to accommodate a one person or 2 people, and whatnot. So I thought that I didn't know. They told us that at the end. That well, actually, only 2 of those were working, and you guys happened to hit the right 2. The
Oh yeah. Yep.
because one was in one room, one
Yep.
was in the other room. 2 were in the other room. So but they didn't tell us till the end. So
Right.
whatever we did, it worked, and we moved on. So they are accommodating to however many people you have on your group.
Yep.
Which was good. And this room, the game master was like his accents were like perfect for every freaking room we did.
Yeah.
They
He
really
got
were.
into it.
He did.
He likes his job.
Yeah.
And he did a good job, and he was very up on what we were doing. He knew where we were. He knew what puzzles we were doing, and he offered assistance when we started going down a rabbit hole, or if
Yeah.
we looked like we
He was
were
really
getting a little
he
lost.
was really paying attention
But
to
he
what we were
wasn't
doing.
just throwing out clues left and right. He was really good at it.
A lot of the clues he threw out to us were like almost in forms of a riddle.
Yeah.
And it made you think, it made you look around the room.
Yep.
So he wasn't just giving us, okay, well, you got this piece of paper that says, Andy, go get your gun. Well, what words are capitalized? No, he just, my father used to be a camel. I'm so used to saying camel now to those phone call people. But
One humper too.
you're right. We'll talk about the West Room, but he gives a nice riddle.
But he would be like
Yeah.
in a secretary's voice, or then he'd come back in a different voice as a doctor, and it was kind of neat the
It was
way
cool.
he would do different characters.
Yeah, it definitely was cool. I thought this room was pretty good. Couple little, I don't know. No, like you said, it was pretty straightforward. I forgot what we beat this room with. A couple minutes left, I think. But
The only thing that would have made this room better, I think, was there was a wow factor in the last room that we tried to figure out what to do with it, and you really weren't supposed to do anything with it. It was mostly just for show.
right.
And if there was a way to incorporate a puzzle in and around that, would have been pretty cool.
Right, and I'm sure we're not the only ones who tried to do that.
Yeah,
Especially when it says "do not move,"
yeah,
so you think it's got to do something.
yeah.
Well, all in all, Cuckoo's Nest has done very, very well. So, took a quick break, and actually, I think you asked while I was outside. Oh, could we do one more room? Do you have time? This and that, because I think you were.
Well, before we started, I did.
Oh, because I was still outside.
Yeah, because we ended up getting there like an hour
an hour
early,
early.
hour and a half early. And I just said to the guy, listen, we're here this early. If you want us to wait, it's our fault. We'll wait. If not, if you get us in early, we'll do another room. We'll do all the rooms that you got available. We're here. And,
And they were accommodating.
yeah. And so the other, I can't remember the other guy's name.
Tyler.
Tyler was the one I was speaking to, and he's like, well, I got to talk to Zach. And, if it works out, Zach was like, oh, yeah. If they're here, yeah. He goes, we'll just move this around and move that around, and, we'll get him in. And,
Yeah.
we started talking to him a little bit and kind of let him know who we were. And, they got us in right away. We didn't have to wait. And they were great people.
Yeah. They were. So we ended up doing Wild Wild West Escape Room.
I liked this room.
I did too. It says, your criminal ways have finally caught up with you. You've been arrested and are awaiting trial when you overhear the sheriff talking about a recent wagon heist. The Soapy Smith gang robbed a shipment coming back from the gold rush, and they're hidden their loot in the local saloon. Use your criminal wits to bust out of jail and grab the loot before the gang rides back into town for 60 minutes to claim it. This room immersively was freaking awesome.
This room, in my mind, they took all the Wild West rooms out there and they
Cherry picked all the good
the
stuff.
best parts and put it all together.
Yes.
Except for
Yeah. Go ahead.
the very first puzzle
For each person.
for each person. Which I'm going to spoil it.
Go ahead.
I don't care. You play a lot of games, not a lot of games, but you play games where you get shackled or handcuffed or whatever. And I don't want to put it out there that that's a bad thing. That's a good thing. We love doing that.
Yeah. It's in all reality, it's one extra puzzle in the room to do. So
Right.
that's
Plus,
really what it is.
it's having that little handicap always starts the room off in a good way.
Yes.
Except for, this is the first time we had a leg shackle that was a letter or a word lock or a number lock.
Word lock or a number lock.
Instead, as opposed to being a key.
Yes.
When you have something like that on a part of your body like that, a key is 1,000 times easier.
Yeah.
First of all, there's a million words it could be or a million numbers it could be, as opposed to a key. You know, you find a key, you know that's where it's going. Second of all, you know, a lot of these locks, when they're not lined up exactly right, even if it is the right one, they're not going to pop open on you. So now being on your ankle, trying to line this stuff up.
Not to mention that we're fat and could barely reach our
Yeah.
ankles.
It was, you know, if it was a key lock, it would have been almost a perfect room.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
And-
it didn't really bother me that it was on my ankle as opposed to being, you know, because that's what they would have done in the Wild West.
Oh, definitely. And that's actually, I've already had my ankle done on the first room we've ever
You know,
worked on. But that was, again, a key to a padlock.
right?
And that undid it. I mean, granted, it was a different way to go, but I wasn't a fan of it myself.
Yeah, and really, out of everything in that room, that's the only thing that really stood out in a negative way.
Right.
So I think that's saying a lot.
Right. Aside from that, this room is actually, they're claiming is a 9 to 10 difficulty. I would say yes. There was one puzzle that I don't even know if we skipped over it in this one. Maybe not. But this one was done very well. It looked like you were actually in a jail cell.
Yep.
When you got into the saloon part, it was cool. I mean, I don't know, what would you consider that? Would you consider that 1, 2, 3
I'd say
rooms
3.
that you can go back and forth
Yeah.
after anyway? The jail cell was done very well, and you don't see that a lot in these homemade
Yeah.
escape rooms. There's a select few that we've seen that were done very well.
Yep.
This one was one of them. Saloon doors were cool because those things freaking bounce
Yep.
back at you.
It was decorated right.
It was.
It was this room. You had to pay attention to patterns,
Yes.
and this room was all about patterns.
Yeah.
It was all about, in every room, it was looking at things on the wall, looking at things that you had to manipulate, and everything was patterns.
Right.
And so much so that it made it different than most rooms. Most rooms, there's a pattern here, there's a pattern there. This one really had a lot of them, and I think it was kind of neat to train yourself in that 60 minutes to really pay attention to it.
Yeah. And we ran into our freaking
Favorite puzzle.
Well, one of the 2 favorite puzzles.
Yep.
Because we always say it's our favorite puzzle is that pyramid one, which we really hate.
Yeah.
But we ran into the square triangle one again, and we still didn't figure out how to do it. And you were like, I know how to do it. So, well, here's the pieces. And we still couldn't figure out how to do it. And then, granted, one of the clues actually does show you how to do it.
They gave you the best clue for that puzzle that
Without
we've
you
ever
even knowing
seen.
it.
And we've done that puzzle, had to have done it a dozen times.
Right.
And it was an incredible clue, and more places could figure out how to do that clue.
Right. It was a simple clue, and you know, the only thing I would say about that is that
height, I was just
the
going
height
to
of
say
that.
that.
The height of that where that puzzle was. Granted, we're not the tallest people in the world, but come on.
You know, for a puzzle that's stationary, either put a stool next to it or have it a little bit lower.
It would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it might have had to be there because of the lesser of all evils. That might have been, you know,
The best spot for it.
yeah. But it was at my eye level, just about my eye level, and
I
trying
could just
to,
about see over it, right?
you know, trying to manipulate it was a little on the tough side. But
Maybe that was part of their plan.
Could be.
That they wanted it to be tough.
could be.
It could be. But again, that freaking clue plain as day once you realized what it was.
Yep.
And I thought that was cool.
And again, the clue for us to realize what that was, he was talking in an old-timey accent about,
Southern accent type.
about
accent.
his cattle ranchers and
No, that wasn't it. That was a different line.
and
that was one of the
this and
directionals.
that and
That was one of the directionals. My daddy was a cattle rancher back in
that
the
was
day.
the other lock.
Yeah. And that's what made that's where I was, getting back to when we were talking in Cuckoo's Nest about all his freaking clues were riddles.
Yeah,
And so you had to look around and go, oh, that makes sense now.
yeah.
And then what did you just have in your hand when we were asking about that? The square puzzle. It's like, then you look at it, you're like, Jesus Christ, we're stupid.
No,
I thought it was, out of all 4 rooms we did with this company, and they are actually originally 2 different companies, I thought this was their best room.
and they had a great puzzle in the last room that I don't want to say what it was because there's kind of a wow factor in it. Yep, and it was very cool to see this thing operate. And people ask, we've been asked a lot lately about what we've done 248
rooms.
48 rooms. What do you look for in the room? Don't you get bored doing that many, this and that? And we have different reasons for what we like.
Mm-hmm.
But they usually evolve around the same universe and usually have to do with the props.
Right.
And as well as the immersion.
Yep.
But part of it is figuring out what's a prop, what's not, how the prop's going to work, and what the prop's going to end up doing. And then once you finally manipulate that prop, did it do what you wanted it to do?
Right.
And this thing that we're talking about in this room was a great example of why I loved this room and why I love escape rooms, because we never would have thought that this was going to happen when you press that button.
Right.
Right. And
that button, in all reality, in all honesty, that button was clearly marked on this.
Yep.
So it was, there was no guessing because there was 2 buttons.
Yeah.
So it's one or the other, but yeah, it was clearly marked, and so they did this very, very well.
Yeah.
And like I said, I thought this room was probably the best room out of the 2 companies.
Yes.
That are now one company.
I would say so.
If they could build more rooms like Wild Wild West, immersion wise, puzzle wise, all that, I think that they got home runs right there.
Now, when we first walked into this place, I want to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
You were outside. I went inside to talk with them. And, I tried to get the extra game out of them and start early and everything. And it came down to there was only these 2 games, maybe one other game that they were running. But they were advertising other games that they had previously run but were redoing.
Right.
And in the beginning, I was a little bummed out because some of these games sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
But then once we played the Wild West game in particular, I got what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
They were taking these rooms and they were improving them to this point. At least that's what I think they're doing.
Yes.
And if that's the case, give them a little bit of time because these games are all going to be phenomenal.
Right. Right now, at the Padlock location, they're only running Wild Wild West and Cuckoo's Nest. And at the other location, that's where they are running Legends, Battle for the Throne, and Alcatraz. Oh, Alcatraz is actually in a different place. Although it says, that's today. But they're running that in Brookhaven.
Brookhaven?
And it looks like that's the only room in Brookhaven.
It could be.
Which is their 3rd location. So we were in Ronkonkoma. Yeah. We're
way down to
yeah.
Kokomo.
We're at Portion Road and Ocean Ave in Ronkonkoma.
Which isn't that far away from each other.
Oh, they were about 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
10 minutes away, yeah. So that worked out freaking awesome. I kind of wanted to do the Alcatraz room.
They had that. They had a Home Alone room.
Yeah, but I don't think it's being booked right now. I think
It's being refurbished.
Click on book now, and it's not there.
That was one of the ones that's being refurbished.
Yeah, that's definitely being refurbished. Alcatraz is being done. The Cube,
The Cube, I was very interested in.
so they have So they have Battle for the Throne, Legend of the Hidden Temple, which is the 2 we did.
Yep.
Alcatraz Prison, which is still running, in a 3rd location.
Right.
Home Alone, which is not running.
Yep.
Cabin in the Woods, which is not running.
Right.
Wild Wild West and Cuckoo's Nest, which are running in the padlocked Ronkonkoma location. The Cube and Castaway. The Cube and Castaway, I believe, both are at the...
They're not running, though.
They're not running, but they're both at the Wild Wild West location.
Yes.
The other ones are scattered
The
between
Cube is based on, there's a movie called The Cube.
Right.
That's a really cool movie.
Never seen it.
It's kind of screws with your head a little bit, but it's a cool movie.
That's what I see that they're really going with is TV themes here.
Yeah.
Hidden Temple would be probably an Indiana Jones type room or something to that effect. Battle for the Thrones was Game of Thrones. Cuckoo's Nest, you said, was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yep.
And Wild Wild West, I think it's just a Wild Wild West theme, but it could have to do with some kind of Western movie.
Yep. I mean, that was the name of the TV show. Wild Wild
Oh, that's
West.
true, right. I forgot about that. But, I mean, all in all 4 rooms are freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, I think you give this place a little bit more time to get these other games up and running.
And revamped and whatnot.
And revamped, and I can't wait to go back down there.
Yeah, I can't either. I mean, there's a few places we got to hit too and whatnot, but I definitely recommend these places, and we will be back once these rooms are.
And again, shout out to the game masters that we had.
Yes,
they were all very good. And
actually, they're running Cabin in the Woods at Brookhaven.
I think.
Yes, so Cabin in the Woods is still there. At least I think so. I could be wrong.
They might have opened it, but
it says it's full all the way up until. Well, they're 7 o'clock. Says it's full. Maybe they're not open it. I don't know.
They might open it in the interim since we've been there.
Maybe. Yeah, but again, check these guys out. EscapeGameLI.com. They're really cool people.
Yeah.
Tell Zach, tell Tyler, tell Sam, DIU Escape Crew says hi if you guys go.
Yeah, baby.
And maybe they'll remember us. Anything else to say about this place?
Not really. I mean,
I think we covered it.
It was a great trip all in all.
Yeah, for an impromptu, hey, let's just go to Long Island. Oh, we can't this weekend. Hey, I'm off Saturday. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
I'll get Monday off. And we went. So we weren't expecting to do a ton of rooms, but we got 12 out of this whole trip.
And pretty quality rooms, a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, they got better towards the middle and end, but...
Yeah, as a matter of fact, except for...
The first place we went to.
I got no problem with any of the other places, any of the other rooms. Immersions were great. The games were great. Great game masters.
Yeah. Again, aside from the first place.
Except for the first, yeah. But if they were all home runs, a home run wouldn't be worth anything.
You're right. You're 100% right. A few things to talk about now before we sign off here is that by the time you hear this episode, it will be... What will the date be? The date will be the 28th, I believe. This episode is going to be out. We're at 248 rooms.
That we are.
We are going to be... This episode is the 48th episode overall of the DIU Escape Crew podcast. That's also including our...
videos.
Well, the throwbacks of DIU. Yeah. The throwbacks and the Redemption Tour episodes. Yep. So...
funny how things work out like that.
Yeah, we're hoping to get our 50th podcast with our 250th room. We're hoping. It may Hopefully. Not. It may work that way. It may not. But we're also starting to think about the Diamond Award. If you go to DIUEscapeCrew.com, we started this award last year. Yep. Actually, technically this year, beginning of this year, is when we finally gave them out. But
it was for games that
we played in 2020. And Let me go to the website itself. Anyway. And the 2020 recipients were Exit Games in Florida for Servants of Slight, Escapism in Southington, Connecticut for The Score, and Escape the Pike in Sturbridge for Son of Zodiac. This year, so far, we've done 80, I believe it said 84 rooms so far.
Goddamn.
Just in 2021.
Gotta get a life there, son.
You know what it was? If you really look at the list when I printed it out, it's really in groups.
Yeah.
We go long times without doing rooms.
It's these road trips that are
Right, because
building up the numbers.
Right, because we're pretty much done in Connecticut. There's a couple places that we're just not gonna go in Connecticut. I mean, the rules to do those rooms are just some kind of.
You never know, though.
You don't. I mean, I shouldn't say never, but we're starting to dwindle down the list for the Diamond Award. Yes, we had 3 recipients of the 2020. We may have a few more recipients this year because we did so many great rooms this year.
Yep.
That it's going to be so hard to dwindle down to 3.
Yeah.
Again, the rules for it are really
very
easy.
complicated.
Very easy. Rules for it. Phil and Dom have had to play the games, and they both have to agree on the same game. That's it.
Well, that's not always the easiest thing to do.
Well, to agree on the game.
They agree on the game.
We do talk off air, and we're like, yeah, that was good, but was it better than this one? You're like, I don't know. I kind of do like this one a little bit better, but...
It's amazing when you get to that point that you do that many games. It really comes down to like little things.
It is,
and a lot of it is just little personal preference. The way some little thing in the game hit you.
Yeah,
that you're like, oh my god, yeah, that's like the perfect thing.
It's gonna come down to probably like we just talked about Wild Wild West at Escape Game Long Island. It's gonna probably come down to the fact that we both didn't like the way that you had to use a code to unshackle yourself. And then, and it's going to be that little thing that could knock out that room from being a diamond room. Because in all reality, you have the same list I have, and I've gone through mine, and I've crossed out places. I've checked rooms that I liked, and Wild Wild West is a contender. It's in my eyes.
Yeah,
we both, you know what I mean. We both have to agree, but it could, like I said, it could come down to that one little detail that.
If it was, there's other places that give out awards for every little thing,
right?
And when I first realized what they were doing, it was like, every place they're giving an award, it's a participation award, basically.
Yeah, it's a trophy. Yeah,
but when you sit back and think about all the rooms. Yeah, a majority of these rooms deserve an award for something.
Yes.
Yeah. But the way we do it, our way, it's just a little bit harder on us.
Right, to decide who it is.
Yeah.
So there may be a few, we gave 3 away this year. There could be maybe a few more.
Couple more. I wouldn't go crazy with it.
Right. I'm not
a fan of participation awards.
Oh, I'm not either. I don't think everybody deserves a trophy.
Right.
I think you need to earn your trophy, and that's what's going to be so hard about us with these rooms.
Yes.
Is that, not for nothing, you guys earned our respect, our award.
Yeah.
And we hope that, you guys accept it and like it, and it is, you may not even care about awards, which a lot of places probably don't, because in the end, it's all about how you're making money for you to live. But
also, we've been talking a lot off air, and the industry has progressed so much in such a short period of time. Where before you knew this is a mom and pop room, this is a bought room. Now that line is so blurred, that we've done ones that I was 100% sure were bought rooms. Not that there's anything wrong with a bought room. But you end up finding out, well, no, that's us. We came up with this and we built these props and,
right.
Right.
We put all this stuff together. We painted this stuff.
It's really,
designed this.
It means a lot to us to be able to play that game.
Yes. Definitely.
We want you guys to know that it hasn't gone unnoticed.
Right.
Because there are probably for every one that we notice, there's probably 100 people that go through there that is just a game for them.
Right.
But because of who we are and what we notice about rooms and what we enjoy about rooms, that's why we do this award.
Yes.
And
yeah,
I just it's getting harder.
It's going to be hard this year. Last year was a little easier only because we just came up with the award, and COVID. We didn't have that many rooms to do last year.
Right.
We really did 20-something rooms last year. We quadrupled that this year.
Yeah.
We did it last year, beginning of 2020, last year, we were in Florida. We did a handful of rooms. We were there for a week. But we also did other things there and whatnot. I mean, we didn't get to go do another room until April. From January to April. We did a couple of online rooms, and yeah, we had fun with those, but we're not giving away awards for that. We're giving away awards for in-room games only.
And it's funny, you mentioned that. I'm looking at the list now, 3 pages worth of rooms, and really they're all clustered in the same areas.
Oh, right.
It was
our road trips. It really was our road trips. I went through, because I check in on Facebook all the time, wherever we are. So I went through that and then went to our website, remembered the rooms we did, and put it in. Right. And they're all clustered. We have New Hampshire, we have New Jersey, we have New York. And I think there's 2 places in Connecticut we did this year. So, but they're all clustered. I mean, that New Jersey trip alone, we did 37 rooms or 34 rooms in 6 days or 7 days.
Yeah.
Okay. We just did 12 in a weekend. What was the other trip that we just did? New Hampshire. We did 20-something rooms.
Crazy in New Hampshire.
30 rooms in a week.
Yeah.
Okay. So we did them in big clusters, but
it's not 1 or 2 a week that we're doing, but it's
right.
They're all clustered together and
In that area.
Yeah.
Again, we're running out of rooms in Connecticut, so the only way we can do rooms is to branch out to other.
And if you're going to
States.
take a road trip and you're going to drive a few hours, you might as well hit as much as you can.
Right.
And take full advantage, because there's no reason to go somewhere and play 2 games and then sit in a hotel room for 2 days.
Right. Exactly. So, but anyway, stay tuned, because I think we're going to do the Diamond Award, kind of part of an elimination of it on one of the podcasts.
Yep.
We talked about it. We might have just a special guest host.
Yep.
He or she will have the list, and we'll go through and we'll explain why we would pick this for a Diamond Award and why we wouldn't pick it for a Diamond Award.
Yep.
I think that's the way we're going to go. Maybe, I don't know what podcast it'll be, but again, if we get to our 250th room before the end of the year, could be on podcast 51.
Yep.
We'll see. So, besides that.
Now, speaking of 250th room.
Yep.
This means a lot to us. It really does. We've been really talking a lot about where 250 is going to be and what we're going to do for it. Anybody out there, and we've met a lot of people out there, a lot of great people. Mm-hmm. Anyone out there who wants to make the case why one of your rooms should be 250, let us know. We have a few games in our mind that are going to fit that, but if you guys want to put your name in the hat for a game we haven't played yet that you think is really going to blow us away, let us know.
Yeah, definitely.
We are in the process right now of trying to figure out 49 and 50. So let us know, and we'll take it from there. If it ends up not being one of those 2 games, then it will be soon after that we're up there.
Yes.
And hit us up, let us know. And we've met a lot of people along the way, a lot of great people, and we've been invited to do rooms all up and down the East Coast. And, we appreciate everything. We don't want people to think that things are lost on us, because they're not.
They're not.
So
anyway, So yeah, stay tuned for these podcasts. Again, check out our Facebook page, DIU Escape Crew, spelled CRUE, like Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Check out our website, DIUescapecrew.com. Same thing. Follow us on Twitter. Just look up DIU Escape Crew.
Check
Everything.
out the merch on the website.
Yeah, the swag. And
I got the new sweatshirt on right now.
I had it on earlier. Yeah.
I'm loving the new
Right
design.
now, if you go to tpublic.com through the DIU swag, you can get probably up to 35% off your sale. Just clicked on the website itself. So, hey, where shirts right now are $19 instead of $26.
There you go.
And this is a backlist, or $13 instead of $20. You get the DIU Escape Crew shirt with our intro, time to play the game, DIUescapecrew.com on the back.
Yeah.
You can get the Church of Lurch.
Yeah.
You can get our DIU Escape Crew skull logo exiting the door in white and in orange. You can get our original logo with just the guy running through the door with green, white, or red lettering. One of them has a white background. You can get a Do It Up Productions DJ and Karaoke Services t-shirt. That's also got a back. A DIU Karaoke t-shirt. Just a Lurch shirt. DIU Escape Room Reviews shirt. Old school DIU TV shirt.
I love the old school DIU TV logo.
I think I actually want to buy that shirt myself. And pretty much brand new. It's been there for a while, but the DIU Podcasting Network t-shirt. That's a green background, white microphone, green lettering with the black outline on it. I may change that up a little bit, but
We are taking over the world, one podcast at a time.
yes. So stay tuned.
We are waiting for the day that we walk into a place to do it, and every one of the employees has one of our shirts on.
And, so check that out. For that, I'm Dom.
I'm Phil.
That is Phil.
And that is Dom.
And you'll hear from us when you hear from us.
Peace out.